It's a habit more Canadians are becoming familiar with, but while EV owners might see cost savings on fueling and maintaining their vehicles, they could take a financial hit on insuring them.
Do you think owning an EV is just too expensive? Think again. Despite the higher sticker prices, EVs are saving drivers thousands compared to gas vehicles, thanks to various incentives and lower running costs. But why are some states still lagging behind, and what does this mean for your wallet? So a lot of folks worry about the high price tag on electric vehicles, and that's totally understandable. But over 5 years, EVs actually turn out to be cheaper to own than gas cars, even though they cost more upfront. That's what a study by JD Power, a well-known automotive research firm, found out. Now, yes, when you first look at the price, EVs seem pretty expensive, about $13,000 more than your typical gas-powered car, with the average EV costing around $57,584. The big price difference is why a lot of people hesitate to make the switch to electric. In fact, EVs only made up about 7% of new car sales in the first quarter of the year. But when you factor in all the costs of owning a car over time, like fuel, insurance, and registration fees, EVs actually save you money in the long run. Plus, with the federal tax credit of up to $7,500 that kicked in this year, the cost of an EV drops even further right at the point of purchase. This credit helps make the high upfront cost less intimidating, allowing buyers to focus on long-term savings. There are a couple of exceptions though, like in Maine and West Virginia, where gas cars are still cheaper to own, but in pretty much every other state, EVs come out ahead. In a different bit of news, Ford Pro Insure, which is Ford's new insurance service for businesses, is now available in Maryland and Minnesota. They're offering commercial auto coverage that's supposed to boost efficiency for businesses using Ford vehicles. In Minnesota, there's even a chance to get a 10% discount if you choose a policy based on how much you drive, thanks to the tech in new Ford Pro vehicles. In some states like New Jersey, buying an electric vehicle can save you around $10,000 over 5 years, thanks to perks like not having to pay sales tax on the car. But in places like West Virginia, owning an EV doesn't save as much money, though the difference is just around $1,800 over 5 years compared to a gas-powered car. JD Power's analysis shows that on average, owning an EV costs about $3,000 less over 5 years than owning a similar gas-powered car. In places like Connecticut and New York, high electricity bills can make charging at home pricier, while in California, the higher insurance premiums on premium EV models can eat into your savings. But in states like Colorado, the incentives stack up, making EV ownership a no-brainer. Leasing, though, is a different story. In states usually considered EV-friendly, leasing might not be as cost-effective, with short-term leases potentially costing you more. For instance, while owning an EV in Connecticut could save you over $1,200 in 5 years, a 3-year lease could end up costing you nearly $7,000 more than a gas car. Yet, in Mississippi, leasing an EV could save you over $3,000, making it the most affordable state for leasing. When we talk about the total cost of owning a car, we're including things like the purchase price, any discounts or incentives you might get, fees, interest rates, how much the car's worth after a few years, and everyday costs like insurance, maintenance, and fuel. One big reason people are still hesitant to buy EVs is the worry about where to charge them, plus the fact that monthly loan repayments for EVs tend to be higher. In the first quarter of the year, the average monthly car payment was $735, with an interest rate of over 7%. That's a lot for most people. But as EV prices drop and charging stations become more common, it's expected that more people will start considering EVs. The shift to EVs is still in the early days, but as people start to see the long-term financial benefits, and as the technology and infrastructure keeps improving, more and more drivers are likely to make the switch in the years to come. So there was a lot of rumour that 2024 would be the big year for electric cars, especially after a massive 47% jump in sales the year before. But things didn't quite go as planned. A bunch of issues came up, problems with public charging, reports about EVs losing a lot of range in extreme weather, and fewer EVs qualifying for the $7,500 federal tax credit. All this bad news slowed down demand. While overall car sales went up by 5% in the first quarter of 2024, EV sales only inched up by 2.7%. Because of this, the prices for new EVs have been dropping. On average, they're about 12.8% cheaper than they were last year, and some models are selling for 20% less than they did in 2023. Tesla in particular has slashed prices multiple times, and other car makers are doing the same with discounts, rebates, and other incentives. Some brands even figured out how to make their EVs qualify for the federal tax credit through leasing programs, even if they didn't meet the requirements for a straight-up purchase. With all these price cuts and deals, nearly half, or 20 out of 49 of the battery electric models sold in the US are now cheaper to own over 5 years than similar gas-powered cars. The shift in pricing and ownership costs could make EVs more appealing to a lot more people, despite the challenges they've faced recently. A recent analysis by a company that digs dives deep into vehicle ownership costs, compared over 5,300 different vehicle setups from the 2023 to 2024 model years. They looked at everything that goes into owning a car, like depreciation, financing, fuel, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. A 2020 Consumer Reports study also found that EV drivers spend about 60% less on fuel each year compared to those driving gas-powered cars. And in 2023, Energy Innovation confirmed that every single EV model across the US is cheaper to fill than its gas counterpart. These savings are no fluke. Current EVs are up to nearly 5 times more efficient at covering the same distance as a gas engine. With such significant efficiency and cost benefits, it's no wonder that more people are considering making the switch. Now, while EVs do cost more up front, on average about $8,000 more than similar gas cars, they make up for it with lower energy and maintenance costs. In fact, nearly half of the EVs in the study, 19 out of 41, can recover their higher initial cost within 7 years. And for 8 of those EVs, they start saving you money right away as soon as you drive them off the lot, because they have lower starting prices than similar gas cars. On the flip side, the remaining 22 EVs in the study might take 7 years or more to break even compared to gas cars, so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. But if you're charging your EV at home and keeping up with its simpler maintenance needs, you're looking at some serious savings over time. For example, the Tesla Model Y could save you nearly $20,000 over 5 years, compared to its closest gas-powered competitor, the BMW X3. Now, there's a downside to EVs, that's depreciation, how much value a car loses over time. Unfortunately, most EVs lose value faster than their gas-powered counterparts. Only 10 out of 41 EVs in the US had better depreciation rates than similar gas vehicles. Tesla in particular saw a big drop in resale value between 2023 and 2024, with some models losing up to 34.4%. But there are some EVs that stand out for their cost effectiveness over 5 years. Models like the Nissan Leaf, Hyundai Kona Electric, and Tesla Model Y are among those that save you the most money compared to similar gas vehicles. Plus, certain models like the Ford F-150 Lightning and Porsche Taycan are considered even better deals than their gas-powered equivalents, requiring zero payback period due to their lower costs overall. So while the shift to EVs might feel like a big investment at first, the long-term financial perks along with the ongoing drop in EV prices and improvements in charging infrastructure make them a smart choice for more and more people as time goes on. So what's the real idea here? Electric vehicles might seem pricey at first, but over time they're actually a smarter investment than gas cars in most places across the US, with long-term savings on everything from fuel to maintenance and even special tax incentives. EVs are more than just a trend, they're a financial game changer. As more charging stations pop up and EV prices continue to drop, the reasons to stick with gas are shrinking fast. The question isn't just whether you can afford an EV, but whether you can afford not to make the switch. So as you think about your next car, remember this: the future might be electric and your wallet could be better off for it. Would you consider switching to an electric vehicle after hearing about the long-term savings? How much would you need to save over 5 years to make an EV worth it for you? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.